now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue. I was watching a Ringo TV reactions live stream where he was talking about Ebony K. Williams and her decision to unilaterally become a single mother. And as Ringo played his live stream, he played segments from Ebony K. Williams' YouTube channel, which basically showed her in her own words talking about her reasons and motivation to become a single mother.
Black women are availing ourselves to all of the options that our hard work and circumstances currently afford us. And that means that single motherhood by choice is going to be an option that more and more black women consider and even exercise. So anybody that's in their feelings about that can go ahead and start to process right now. Because black women that have the privilege to embark upon this expensive and oftentimes lengthy process will increasingly decide to forego marriages and partnerships that do not serve us and that are not in our best interests. And now that bypassing those insufficient relationships does not have to come at the expense of motherhood, well, frankly, it's a whole new world. A world in which black women are no longer subject to the desperation of being chose, because now we get to do the choosing. And as we choose, we do have to contend with the reality of a dismally small supply of black sperm. Because most black women on this journey, we want to create children that look like us and that look like our families, and that means we want black sperm. And as we heard from Reese Brooks, it's the definition of slim pickings. And sometimes that means compromising on this aspect of your journey. Now, I am extremely fortunate that I was able to secure 2 vials of black sperm from California Cryobank when I embarked on this part of my journey last fall. But I do know that I am an outlier. So I've got 2 concrete tips for single black women who think this may be an option, either now or maybe later. Number 1, please check out Reproductive Village. It's a new black-owned cryobank, and it's designed to help with this shortage of black sperm. It's set to open its doors in D.C. later this year, and it will also have drop-off locations in Atlanta and Houston, Texas. And number 2, be proactive. I say go ahead and start looking right now for desirable black sperm. You register with all 4 of the big cryobanks, and this includes California Cryobank, which I used, Seattle Sperm Bank, Fairfax Cryobank, and Zytex. Then you can scan the current options for black sperm. And if you see some sperm that you like, I suggest go ahead and buy at least 2 vials right now. Even if you do not intend to use them anytime soon, trust me, it's better to have them than to be without them when the time comes. And listen, if you never need them, for whatever reason, what a wonderful gift to give to a friend or a sorority sister in need. And also, most of those banks, they allow you to resell the sperm back to the bank itself. Listen, I know that many are going to question or even indict the decision that I and many other black women are making to become single mothers by choice. But I, like the women you heard from today, go by the creed of no regrets. I have, and many black women have, too much love, too many resources, and too rich of a community not to share these gifts with children of our own. Children that will one day, no doubt, enrich and contribute to the next generation of Black America.
Now, as I watched Ringo's live stream and I watched Ebony K. Williams talking about her wanting to become a single mother, I basically saw a completely insane woman speaking about something that made absolutely no logical sense. Now, when I listen to Ebony K. Williams, it's clear to me that she has some sort of mental health issue, similar to what the late David Carroll talked about as related to black women being seen as a mental disorder. But I won't go as far as what David Carroll proposed, that the collective of black women are being mentally ill. No, when it comes to Ebony K. Williams, what I see with her is that she basically is one of these feminist indoctrinated women, like I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis, and she's following a paradigm of failure, like I talk about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And Ebony K. Williams basically has drunk the white feminist Kool-Aid and has possibly drinking several gallons of it, and believes what the white feminist has told her about being a strong, independent woman, a idea of culture that basically was passed on to her by her single mother, who was a bus driver. And as that single mother passed that whole dysfunctional life paradigm on to her, it's clear to me that she has a deep-seated hatred of black men, and I say black men. And that whole hatred of black men basically has led to her winding up with a bad sense of pride, and that pride is the thing that's going to lead to her taking this great fall on her quest to become a single mother. Now, the reason why Ebony K. Williams basically wants to go on this road to becoming a single mother is because she is been taught by her single mother to be too proud to submit to the authority of a man and not to go out and look to get support or leadership from a man. Now, Ebony K. Williams' mother basically put her on this road to dysfunction because instead of following the principles of the Bible, what Ebony K. Williams wants to do is follow the principles of dysfunction that were given to black women by white supremacy when they looked to indoctrinate black women into the whole lifestyle of feminism, where they were taught that they could be strong and independent and not need a man. And that again goes diametrically opposed to the Bible that 80% of most black Christian women say that they follow, because in the Bible it states that a woman was created for a man by God to serve a man. Unfortunately, when it comes to the feminist indoctrinated woman, she believes the illogic of white supremacy rather than believe the facts of the Word of God. And that's where Ebony K. Williams basically is a very twisted individual who I believe basically is been driven insane to the point where she believes that she can go out and follow this whole paradigm, where she believes that she can be a single mother and believes that she can be the single mother and raise a child on her own. And she believes that she can do this without the help of a man, and believes that she can raise a healthy, functional person because she's this single, successful, well-educated black woman who is a lawyer and has success as related to being a reality star, but she's really in a rose-colored reality that is being utilized by white supremacy to push an agenda. I will agree with Ringo on that point, that she is basically being used as a useful idiot to push white supremacy's anti-black family agenda, and she's being used by white supremacy to push this anti-family agenda because what white supremacy does not want is for there to be functional black families where a child is receiving guidance from a father and they're getting a foundation in structure, in order, and a direct connection to God's order. They're not getting that when there's no father in the house, and instead of them getting order and being taught how to serve God, what they are being taught to do is be workers in the system of white supremacy, workers doing labor for the white supremacist, like Ebony K. Williams is doing. Now, the work that she's doing is not on a corporate job. No, the work that Ebony K. Williams is doing for white supremacy is pushing an anti-black family agenda, because what they are doing is using this useful idiot to push this anti-black family agenda by telling black women the lie through their mouthpiece, Ebony K. Williams, that they do not need a man in their lives, and if they make enough money, they can afford to avoid having a father in that child's life. No, they can go to a sperm bank and find the seed of a man, and then use that seed to go out here and breed a child without ever having to involve a father in the entire process. And that in and of itself is what white supremacy wants to do. They want to breed these dysfunctional ideas because they do not want the black man to take his role that God has given him as head of the family, and does not want the black man to be the steward over the family and be the steward who is accountable to God. No, what they want to do is push this narrative through the mouthpiece of Ebony K. Williams, their useful idiot, and have her pushing the narrative to black women who are educated and professional and are desperate at this point for a relationship to work, to circumvent getting sperm from a man for a child, and circumvent that whole process by going to a sperm bank, which is basically owned by these white folks, and again, taking black wealth out of the black community and giving it back to white people, and keeping black people from being empowered as related to getting their family together. Again, Ebony K. Williams sitting there talking these talking points, parroting what the white supremacists once said, because they know they can't get a white woman like Ringo has said to say these things. So what they do is find a black female useful idiot, have her go out here and parrot the talking points they once said, and have this black woman saying the racist things that they once said to make it palatable to masses of black women. That is what's being done here with Ebony K. Williams, who in her mind thinks that she's doing something to empower black people, and that's where her behavior becomes Arkham certified, because only an insane person would sit there, like Ebony K. Williams has said, that this is part of black empowerment, and there's no way that this is part of black empowerment when you're looking to take power away from God's head and God's steward. I mean, how is it you empowering black people by taking a father away from their child? I mean, that's the critical question I have to ask Ebony K. Williams, because children need a father. This is something that I have seen firsthand growing up in the South Bronx around lots of kids who grew up with single mothers. Children need a father, and a daughter needs a father, because a father is essential to giving a daughter a sense of emotional security, because it's that father being the first man in that daughter's life that gives that daughter a sense of feeling a sense of self-worth, feeling a sense of love, feeling a sense of value, a sense of self-worth. It's that father's love that nurtures that daughter, and it also provides balance to the mother so that she can go out here and teach discipline and structure to her daughters. This is how a daughter complements a son, and basically because the mother is the one who nurtures the son and the father provides structure, but it's the father who gives that daughter emotional security and encourages his daughter and gives her love. It is that father who gives that daughter that sense of confidence to go out here and be herself. Moreover, it's that father who provides her a model, an example of manhood and character. It's that model of manhood that she gets imprinted on her to subconsciously look when she gets older for a husband. She looks for a husband like her father, and that's why a father is essential in the role of a family, because he provides that love and gives that daughter self-esteem and self-worth and gives her a sense of value so that they won't wind up becoming dysfunctional like an Ebony K. Williams and wind up on the road to complete insanity. And that's what's really disturbing about Ebony K. Williams, is that the way she talked in these videos that Ringo presented basically showed how insane this woman is. She's insane to the point where it basically makes logical sense to her, all the insane things that she is saying. And I have to say that it basically comes across as insane, because when I listen to her talking to Iyanla Vanzant, here again is an Oprah certified therapist who is in the feminist agenda, and she was even coming across as even more insane as she was sitting there talking about how she didn't want to get involved with a man who was a bus driver. And again, the bus driver word was code word for black man. And again, she did not want to be with a black man, because to submit to a black man was something she didn't want to do, because her mother didn't submit to a black man, and because she didn't want to submit to a black man, she taught her daughter to basically hate black men, similar to the way that Alice Walker taught a generation of black girls to hate black men. And that's the kind of hatred I saw presented in the Ebony K. Williams video, was hearing her talk about black men with just such contempt. And again, this whole contempt that she has for black men is basically shown throughout her videos, and that hatred for black men is quite troubling to me, because again, when I listen to her talking about how she does not need a man, what she really means is she doesn't want a black man. But she'll go out here and say, I'm going to a sperm bank, and then try to say that she's looking for black sperm, which is a lie, because when it came to her, when she wanted a relationship with the white male during the pandemic, she was basically the side piece to this white man. And when that pandemic came along and that white man feared for his mortality, what that white man did was go back to his wife and his children, and that left Ebony K. Williams, basically, as I see it, on the road to this mental decline, to the road to psychosis, and led to her on the road to what I believe to be psychosis, where she felt like she could not find that white man that she wanted. And because she couldn't find that white man, she wasn't going to submit to a lesser man, which was the black man. So what she did in her whole quest was go to the sperm bank and promote the idea of the sperm bank as an option to black women. And I guarantee you, at that sperm bank, she ain't going for no black sperm. No, what she's going for is white sperm. And she says she wants to have a daughter. And again, showing her contempt for black boys, because she doesn't want a son. No, she doesn't want a son, because what she wants to do is follow in the lineage of her mother, looking to make a matriarchal legacy. But that matriarchal legacy is one that's going to be on a road to dysfunction. A road to dysfunction, because instead of her raising a daughter, she's raising a girl who will grow up to become a woman in crisis, and grow up to become a woman in crisis, as I see it, because you have one feminist indoctrinated woman raising another feminist indoctrinated woman, and this third generation is going to be worse than the first, which was the mother and the daughter. And yes, materially, they will be on the road to so-called success, because Ebony K. Williams thinks that having money is enough to raise a child. But from what I've seen from my years of experience, of children who were raised without single mothers in the South Bronx, and even other successful people, I've seen how people wound up on the road to becoming men and women in crisis, all because their mothers were too proud to admit that they needed that child's father in their life. And what is going to happen to Ebony K. Williams' daughter as she gets older is she's going to wonder who her father is, and she's going to come back and really just wind up being crushed and devastated when she finds out that her mother basically just was too proud to admit that she needed a father. And again, Ebony K. Williams is a seriously just twisted individual. I mean, as I watched that video that Ringo presented, this was a woman who basically is, again, Arkham certified and is being weaponized by white supremacy because they put her on their media platforms, and they put her on their media platforms deliberately because they want to push an anti-black family agenda on their platforms. And again, they know they can't have a white woman say that single motherhood is good. They wouldn't have a white woman on their platform saying single motherhood is good for white women. No, even though feminism came from white women, they won't promote that message to white women, Asian women, Hispanic women, or Arab women, and they won't promote that on their platforms because they know that those communities would push back against it because they support families. But when it comes to the black community, they will take a useful idiot like Ebony K. Williams, have her be the mouthpiece for their white supremacist talking points, have her be the mouthpiece for their white supremacist anti-black family agenda, have her parroting the messages that they want said on their platforms like the Griot, and have her be the one saying the things they want said. And sadly, you'll have a lot of some of sisters out here who will get brainwashed and poisoned by this spellbound black woman, think that because she's in a prominent position in the media that she is someone who will influence them. But what she's influencing those women to do is wind up on a road to a paradigm of failure, where they're going to be winding up becoming miserable for the rest of their lives. Miserable because you took misinformation from a bootlick and a shill who is out here doing white supremacy's dirty work, in pushing that, again, anti-black family agenda, because what white supremacy does is take a bitter black female like this, have her go out here and say what they want said, have women say, oh, there's no good black men out here, and use her to push their agenda to destroy black families and keep black fathers out of the whole family process. Because what this is an escalation of things. It's an escalation because they went from pushing the father out of the home in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s to creating the baby daddy, which demonized black men in the late 80s after they got that Color Purple book taught in public schools, because the Color Purple basically was used as a weapon to create the foundations for the gender war. And what they want to do is make it where black women don't see black men as viable partners for a family, don't want you to see a black father as someone who can be a head of household. This is all social engineering by the white supremacists to eugenically purge black seed and get black women on the road to going to sperm banks where they think they're going to get black seed, but in actuality they're going to get some white person or Asian person seed or some Arab person seed. And then as they have the black woman going to get seed of other men, that makes those children be biracials, and then have the black man on the road to getting a passport and getting with foreign women. It's all about dividing the black community and, again, erasing black seed, and, again, an anti-black agenda of eugenics. And what they do is use a black face to push their agenda, and Ringo was on point about that. It was all about pushing an agenda, and again, Ebony K. Williams is, again, a just twisted individual because she's in her feelings about the hurt she has about the idea of submitting to a black man. She's in her feelings about the hurt that she has about looking to follow the lead of a black man, because her mother basically taught her that black men are beneath her, based possibly on her issues with the child's father. And because her mother taught her a lot of bad things due to her daddy issues, those daddy issues sadly are not only being passed on to Ebony K. Williams' child, her daughter, they're also being passed on to a generation of young black girls. And I find it interesting, again, you have Ebony K. Williams making the same talking points almost similar to that of Cynthia G. when she was on YouTube. I mean, Cynthia G. talked about aborting black male babies, and she allowed the reign on YouTube for years. But you have Ebony K. Williams talking about the same talking points, similar, but she's trying to soften them up. And the white supremacists who are behind her have those talking points softened up to the point where you have this woman, again, talking against black men being fathers, talking against black men being in their child's lives, again, passively saying, oh, you can go to a sperm bank and get black sperm and have a baby without a father. But this is the exact same talking point that Cynthia G. had on her platform about aborting black male seed and talking about how black males, again, should not be in the child's life. Again, similar talking points, but given a pass. But because this is on the griot, again, they found a way to repackage this anti-black man talking point, and it's quite troubling because what they've done is find a, again, useful idiot in this, I believe to be mentally disturbed woman in, I believe to be Ebony K. Williams, who is promoting self-hatred by saying that she would rather be a single mother rather than submit to the authority of a black man, and doesn't want to have a child with a black man. No, she in her pride wants to be a single mother, and again wants to take her child on the paradigm of failure, and wants to make, and what they want to do is sugarcoat it by saying, oh, because she has money, she has the right to have a child all by herself. Well, I look at Halle Berry, who wanted to go out here and have a child all by herself, and she decided to just get the seed from Gabriel Aubry, the white French-Canadian model, and as she got that seed from that man, what that man did was show how racist he was, and Halle Berry soon found that out when that man, as she said, calls her an N-word as she's paying this man child support, and it just shows, again, the pride of these black women out here as related to them not wanting to submit to the authority of men, but that's all due to the brainwashing of white supremacy and the quest to get white acceptance. Again, these spellbound black women want to fit into the black box that's acceptable to white people. They indoctrinate themselves into feminism, creating a covert contract thinking that this will get them accepted, but what this does is put you on the road to becoming like Ebony K. Williams, parroting talking points of white supremacy and believing that this is perfectly fine. But when you listen to Ebony K. Williams, you listen to what she says, I mean, this woman is just, again, Arkham certified, and she should be fitted for a straitjacket, in my opinion, because, again, you're sitting there talking about how you're proud to be a single mother, but again, as someone who lived around kids who came from single mother households, I can tell you how dysfunctional those children were, and how out of control they were, and how just confused they are as related to life. And you're not doing that child a service, you're actually destroying that child's life. But that's perfectly fine to do to black children, promote these messages to black children on platforms like the griot, and again, shows me why we need new black media to push back against these anti-black narratives designed to destroy the lives of future black children and decide to destroy their lives, because instead of them getting that guidance from a father, getting that love from a father, getting what they need from the men in their life, you have these women who have been indoctrinated into feminism, thinking that they're going to raise better children without a man, when the Bible clearly states that God made man to be the head, God made man to be the steward, God made men to be the ones given dominion over the earth, and he made the woman for the man to serve the man. And this is what Ebony K. Williams, who possibly is going to Christian churches, wants to go and rail against, not knowing that she's going against God with her life. And yes, the devil will give you this semblance of success on the outside, but spiritually, you are lost and you're leading to your children to become twofold children of hell. That's what happens with women like Ebony K. Williams. They don't see where they're taking their children to. No, they want the children because of their narcissism, and they want to be able to get another checkbox as related to their resume and the dream life that they have, but they don't have any love for anyone, and that was shown by the cold way that Ebony K. Williams behaves. I mean, the way this woman behaved in those videos that Ringo presented basically showed me, again, a just woman who was just completely depraved, has complete indifference to human life, and really reminds me of what Professor Xavier said in an episode of X-Men 92, where he said, like a mutant gone completely mad as related to his aspirations of power. And when I look at Ebony K. Williams, she looks like a woman who's basically gone completely mad as related to her aspirations of power. And what's really scary is how smoothly she talks as related to these insane and illogical talking points. I mean, when you have a therapist who can't get through to you, this is Joker level insanity. And when I listened to Ebony K. Williams, it was literally like listening to the Joker, in that the Joker was completely insane, but everything that he says comes across as perfectly logical. I mean, when I listened to the Joker, that's basically what I was hearing with Ebony K. Williams. And she basically, again, sounded to me like the Joker. And I say sounded because I'm using my own observations. And again, I've had to deal with a lot of, again, so when I was in school, future sociopaths and psychopaths. And she basically is sounding just like them. And when I listen to her talk, and I listen to the things that she's saying about family and single motherhood, these are very dangerous talking points, similar to that of Cynthia G when she was on YouTube. And what's scary is how all of those talking points got completely repackaged and put in a brand new box to sell to black women as related to the white supremacist anti-black family agenda. That's what's really scary here, is how the white supremacists can easily just switch up as related to pushing their anti-black family agenda and find the right mouthpiece to push their agenda, because if it wasn't for that white woman, ironically, Cynthia G would still be on the air. But instead, what they did was find somebody who they found to be a little bit more attractive and appealing in Ebony K. Williams. And as they've done this, they found somebody to sell the cyanide inside of the sugar and give people that sugar rush that will basically wind up killing black families. I mean, that's what I see presented as related to Ebony K. Williams in her own words. And again, very scary, because we have a mouthpiece that's anti-black, pushing anti-black talking points, and it's made to be presented as smooth as sugar, and sugar that's meant to poison black women against black men in this ongoing gender war, and basically proves my point about how white supremacy is loving the gender war videos, because what's done here is really troubling. Is she's sitting there talking about how this is black empowerment, but this is not black empowerment at all. No, this is Arkham certified insanity. And again, black empowerment is about empowering black people to build a better black community. And you can't build a better black community without a black father to be the head of that community. Now, if you want to learn about how women like Ebony K. Williams wound up on this road to dysfunction and insanity, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Woman Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the whole issues of the black community, black empowerment, and the black family, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single,
Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today. Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.